So the first question here is, what is magnetic force? So we denote it by the F subscript B, and it is equals to Q into vector cross vector B, where Q is the charge on a particle, V is its velocity, and B is the magnetic field. It reduces to Q VB sin theta into n cap after reduction of V cross B into simple terms. So this is the expression for magnetic force on a charged particle moving in space with a velocity vector V. Next is conditions for which magnetic force is zero. So as we can see from over here, that magnetic force is zero if either Q is zero, V is zero, that it means particle is at rest, B is zero, that means field is zero, sin theta is zero, that means theta is 0 or 180, or any linear combination of all of these. So these are the conditions for magnetic force on charged particle to be zero. Next is conditions for maximum magnetic field. So here we assume that all things are constant except for the angle. So we know that magnetic force is proportional to sin theta. So it will be maximum when sin theta will be maximum, and sin theta is maximum and theta is equals to 90 degree. So this is the condition for maximum magnetic force, that velocity and magnetic field should be perpendicular to each other. Next we have a question on charge is given to be 20 microcoulomb. Velocity here is 2 I cap plus 3 j cap plus 4 k cap, and magnetic field is 3 I cap minus j cap plus 2 k cap. So here the question is, we need to find the speed. So speed will be root under 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square, as it is equal to the magnitude of velocity. So that will lead to root 29. So it will be approximately 5.2 meter per second. Then we need to find QV cross B. So Q here is 20 microcoulomb. V cross B can be found by the determinant IJK, then 2, 3, 4 and 3 minus 1, 2, and after solving it we get the expression magnetic force is 20 into 10 is to power minus 6 I cap into 10 minus j cap into minus 8 plus k cap into minus of 11. So this will be the expression for the magnetic field over here. Next is question number 6, in which we have to find the magnitude of the magnetic field. So it will be magnitude of this vector, which will be 20 into 10 is to power minus 6 into root 100. 10 square is 100, 8 square 64, 11 square 121. So it reduces to 2 into 10 is to power minus 5 root 285. So that will be the magnitude of the magnetic field over here. Now here is a case given that a particle enters a magnetic field orthogonally or perpendicularly. So that angle between velocity and magnetic field is 90 degree over here. So the next question is, what will be the locus of the particle? So the magnetic field rotates the particle in a circle. So the locus will be circular motion over here of the circle. Then next question is radius of the circle. So after analyzing that, centripetal force will be provided by the magnetic force. So that will give us mv square by r is qvb, and that will reduce to mv upon qb. Then there are certain graph based questions. The first is based on radius and the mass. Assuming that speed, charge and magnetic field are constant. So as when we can see from here that radius is proportional to mass, so the graph will be a straight line. Another question is mass, charge and B are constant. So again radius is proportional to speed, so the graph will again be a straight line. Then graph between r and 1 by m. So we take 1 by m as x, so m will be 1 by x. So r will be proportional to 1 by x, so that graph will be a rectangular hyperbola as shown here. Similarly, graph between r and 1 by v will be a rectangular hyperbola. Then is r versus k. So in terms of kinetic energy, radius can be written as root 2 km upon qb, where k is the kinetic energy. So r is proportional to root k over here. So the graph will be a parabola turning toward the k axis as shown in the figure. Now is the next question on the angular velocity. Angular velocity here is qb by m. Putting v is equals to omega r, we can simplify omega as qb by m. Then are some graphical based question on this. First is omega versus q graph. So omega is proportional to q, so the graph is gonna be a straight line. Then omega versus b, obviously omega is proportional to b, again graph will be a straight line. Then omega versus m, omega proportional to 1 by m, so graph will be a rectangular hyperbola. Then is the time period of revolution of that charged particle in the circle. So time period comes out to be 2 pi by omega, and it simplifies to 1. We have So solving it further, we have time as proportional to mass. So the graph will be a straight line. Then time versus q. So these are inversely related. So the graph will be a rectangular parabola. And obviously t versus b, there will be a inverse relation. So the graph will again be a rectangular hyperbola. So these are the graphical conditions, and this is how we can relate to them. Let's discuss one more worksheet on plane mirror. So this is a plane mirror, and here light is incident as shown here at an angle 30 degree. We have to tell various terms related to this figure. First of all is angle x. So here we apply laws of reflection, that angle of incidence is angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is 30, so reflection angle will also be 30. So x here will be 30. Then here is y, so we can see that y plus 30 is 90, so y will be 60. Then we need to find z. Similarly, we can say that x plus z is 90. From here, z will also be equal to 60 degree. Then we need to find angle of deviation. So angle of deviation is given by 180 minus 2y. So I here is 30, so 180 minus 2 into 30 will be 120. And there are two angles of deviation, the sum which is 360, so del 1 plus del 2 will be 360. So 120 plus del 2 will be 360, that will give del 2 as 240. Now there is a question that there is a plane mirror and a body is moving with a speed 2 meter per second. Initially distance of the point from the mirror is 10 meter. So the first question is distance between object and image at t is equal to 0. So image will be formed at the same distance. So the total distance will be 20 meter over here. Next is after what time object will strike plane mirror. So object will strike plane mirror when it will cover a distance of 10, so time will be distance by speed, that will be 5 seconds. Next is distance of object from mirror as a function of time. So we know that in time t it will cover a distance 2t, so distance can be written as 10 minus 2t. Next is distance between object and image as a function of time, so that distance will be twice of this, so that will be 20 minus 40t. Next we have another question, that light rays incident as shown in the figure. We are being given a vector along the incident ray which is I cap minus j cap plus k cap. Then we need to find the unit vector. So unit vector will be I cap minus j cap plus k cap by root 3. Now we need to find angle theta. So here we'll use the property that incident ray dot n cap is I into 1 into this angle will be 180 minus theta. So that will be cos 180 minus theta. So it will reduce to minus 1 is equal to minus root 3 cos theta. So that will give us cos theta is 1 by root 3. So that will give us theta is equals to cos inverse of 1 by root 3. Then we need to find alpha. Alpha will also be equal to theta. So that will also be equal to cos inverse of 1 by root 3. Then here is another question based on this. So here is we need to find angle of deviation. So angle of deviation will be 2, either it will be 180 minus 2 theta or 180 plus 2 theta. So that will be angle of deviation. I think here if we see I dot, okay, it's all right. Now there is another problem in which we need to find angle x. So angle x will be 30 degree over here, as incidence angle is equal to angle of reflection. Now is another question, through what angle mirror should be rotated so that final rays along x-axis. So here we can say that R1 will make an angle of 60 degree. So if we want to make R2 along x-axis, two possibilities are there. One is along plus x-axis, one is along minus x-axis. So for the first case, the reflected ray rotates by 60 degree clockwise. That means mirror has to be rotated by 30 degree, because it's on rotating mirror by theta, reflected ray rotates by 2 theta. So if reflected ray rotated by 60, so the mirror will have to rotate by half the angle, that is 30 degree. In the next case, it has to be rotated by 120 degree anti-clockwise, so mirror has to be rotated by 60 degree anti-clockwise. So for these we can answer, the first question will be 30 degree clockwise, second will be 60 degree anti-clockwise, then is along plus y axis. So along plus y axis we can see rotation has to be 30 degree anti-clockwise, so mirror has to be rotated by 15 degree anti-clockwise. Then if it is along minus y axis, so it has to be rotated through 150-degree clockwise. So that means mirror has to be rotated through 75-degree clockwise. Now there is one important thing, that the scalar triple product of the three vectors is 0 because three vectors are coplanar. So n cross r vector will be perpendicular to vector I. So the angle between them is 90, hence their dot product will be 0. So in this way, we can see that the triple product is 0 over here. Let's see another worksheet on Earth's magnetism. So here is the first question, that magnetic axis of Earth makes. So it makes an angle of 11.3 degree with the geometrical axis. Next is component of Earth's magnetic field. So the components are declination, dip, and horizontal component of magnetic field. Then is what is angle of declination? So it is the angle between geometrical meridian and the magnetic meridian. So suppose this is the magnetic meridian at a certain point. Magnetic meridian is the plane which contains Earth's magnetic field, and geographic meridian is a plane which contains the geographic north-south axis. So the angle between them makes something which we called as the angle of declination. Then is what is dip angle? So dip angle is the angle between horizontal and magnetic field. Suppose this is Earth and this is a particular point on Earth P. So here this will be the horizontal component of Earth magnetic field. This will be the vertical component of Earth's magnetic field, and let's assume that net magnetic field is like this. So the angle that net magnetic field make with the horizontal is called the angle of dip. Next is what is BH? So as we can see from over here, BH will be B cos I, as taking the component along the tangent. Then is graphical analysis of B versus I. So the graph will be like this. It will be maximum for theta is 0 and it will be minimum when theta is 90. Next is what is vertical component of Earth's magnetic field. It will be B sin I. The graphical variation will be like this. It will be minimum at 0 and maximum at 90. Then is there are certain questions based on that. Then here is a question that dip angle at pole, so that will be 90. Here is another question, angle is 37 over here. Magnetic field here is given to be 100 micro Tesla. We need to find dip angle. So dip angle is directly given over here as 37 degree. Then we need to find horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. That will be B cos 37. Cos 37 is 4 by 5. So that will give us value 80 micro Tesla. Then we have vertical component, that will be B sin 37. It will give the value 60 micro Tesla. And there are certain questions which are left as an exercise, that where is North Pole located, South Pole located, effect on dip on moving from equator to pole. So when we move from equator to pole, the dip angle will increase. Let's analyze this. Suppose this is the pole and this is the equator. So at the pole, magnetic field will be like this. So magnetic field is like this. So angle made with the horizontal will be 90. And in case of equator, field is along, or you can say that opposite to the magnetic field, to the dipole moment. So this angle here will be 0 degree or 180 degree. So taking that as 0, we can say that dip angle is this. So these worksheets are designed so that you can solve all the basic concepts, all the manipulation based questions based on a particular topic, which optimizes your time and energy, and you are able to work on more classified information, work on more you can say that structured information that improves your retention capacity and prepares you better for the exam. In case of any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.